Welcome. It's time for exercises for Bartelt chapter 12. You've made it this far. Let's get to it without any further ado. So, taking a look here, the first handful are basically from the examples in the book, right? So we'll just kind of scroll through that. And here's our first real challenge is number 7 in contrast with number 8. And it's important to kind of look closely at a few things here. First, you've been trained by the immediately preceding exercise. This is the predicate adjective. It stands in the front of the sentence, and so you can do some shortcutting here. Don't think too hard because you need your calories for later on. Good are. It's a masculine plural. Good are. And then you're going to have a lovely little phrase following it. Ha-anashim, the men. Ha-motziim. So you have the definite article. And you have the masculine plural ending. And you have the O vowel at the front end, which says, I'm a participle. And so the participle agrees in number and determination and follows the noun. It has all the characteristics of an attributive adjective, except this is a participle. And so you would say call participle masculine plural in the attributive position. The men, the finding ones. And then especially because this is fientive or it has an object or it's transitive, right? You would probably in English want to use a relative clause because it's easier for us to do it that way. The men who are finding the lad, right? Good are the men who are finding the lad. The men who are finding the lad are good. The larch. And then number 8, Ha'isha yoledeth. Now this is going to present a couple of different problems, and I want to lay something out for you on the outset. The simple parts first. First, you have a nice little noun, lovely, out in the front. The woman. And then an O. And then a seglet. And that says, I am a call participle feminine singular, right? And it's the predicate position. It's after the noun and also does not agree in determination. Okay, so what do you do here? Well, the translation of it is very simple in English. The woman is bearing. Now, the problem is, of course, that it's a fientive or transitive verb and it's going to have an object. Maybe, most likely. The second thing is, couldn't we just say Yaladta, or even in the imperfect Yelada? But why do we have this participle here then? Well, an awful lot of cases of participles are going to be involved in constructions or locutions known as imminent action. And so we want to see this as something that's about to happen or is going to very soon, right? The woman is about to bear. You might be familiar with this from Isaiah chapter 7. And in fact, this little section here is from Isaiah 7. The woman, except it's a different word, the Alma, the woman, the one who is bearing a son. Or you could say, the woman who is about to bear a son. And you would say that she is good. Good is the woman who is about to bear a son. Imminent action. And so I pause here to say, gosh, it seems like the biggest problem for this chapter is English, not Hebrew, because it's easy to see that that's a participle. The problem is, first of all, just language. What kind of participle is this? Well, a participle is an adjective, so you can do attributive, predicate, or substantive, and so on and so forth. And then secondly, what about this? What about the uses of participles in general? Gosh, and that's one of the things we have with this imminent action thing going on, which sounds to our ears like the present progressive is going to happen, but that is how we in English do something called imminent action. And so you'll see me encouraging you to try to do imminent action when you see nouns preceding participles. It's not a hard and fast rule, but it is a frequent thing that happens. If you think about, for example, Deuteronomy, you're going to be trying to read Deuteronomy, right? This is an important book of the Bible. They're all important, but Deuteronomy has a particular importance as sort of the head of all the prophets. It's from which Joshua, Judges, and Samuel and Kings flows, and the reference for Isaiah, Ezekiel, Jeremiah, and the 12. They're going to be pointing to Deuteronomy, right? An awful lot. And you're going to read it, and you're going to see this constantly, something like this, like in Deuteronomy 6. These are the laws, statutes, and such that the Lord God, Yahweh, has commanded me to teach you to do in the land which you are participle possessing, which you are inheriting. But the context of Deuteronomy is clear. They're on this side of the Jordan River, and they need to get on that side of the Jordan River in order to possess it. And so over and over again, you really have the sense of you're about to go do this. And so it gives an urgency to the whole book. Get this stuff down. You're about to go in the land, right? As opposed to this dry delivery of law. It becomes sort of rhetorically, like I said, urgent. So you might want to work on that. I know at the outset here, it's very difficult to hold all these concepts at the same time. However, you'll see me coaching you, especially if you're in my classes, and eventually it'll become second nature to at least give it a try. Oh, that's a participle. Oh, the noun's in front of it. Yeah, let's try imminent action and see if that works in context. Yeah. I don't know the exact numbers, but I'd say 90-10. Good. Let's see. So we're at number 10. Speaking of which, let's just skip ahead a little bit here. Let's do these with the personal pronouns. Who? Sholeach malach. Who is he? Personal pronoun. Toward the beginning of the sentence is probably going to be some sort of predicate thing going on. He is Sholeach malach. All right, so word order here sort of suggests that malach is the object of the verb sholeach. By the way, we have the O vowel here. That's not... the O vowel in type setting is pretty tricky. Sometimes you'll get used to it in the Bible versus the textbook as well. This one's kind of easy. Right is sh, left is sinister, sin, right? Sholeach. There's your O vowel, and there's your E vowel, so that's pretty good for call, participle, masculine, singular. He is sending a messenger, and I just went on a speech about how about you try the imminent action. He is about to send a messenger. See, works pretty well there. Keep it. He shalacheth. There's your O vowel here. And here's your segelit there. Sholacheth is the feminine singular participle. It's predicate because it's in a predicate position. She is about to send a messenger. She is sending a messenger. And remember, who is he and he is she, which is a fun little way to remember it. She is sending a messenger. She's about to send a messenger. Yeah, don't lean too hard on that ing ending. That gets, it'll snap and pierce your hand. Haim sholachim. There's your O vowel again, right? This is the call participle, masculine, plural. And it's in the predicate position again. They are sending a messenger. They are about to send a messenger. Depends on the context. Give it a shot. Now, this one is pretty good. This one, I would say, is a really good example of imminent action. When you have the personal pronoun with the I or the we, because you could have just said shalachnu or nishlach. Why doesn't it just do that? Well, because the locution is sort of suggesting try imminent action or something. So you've got the participle masculine plural with this first person common plural personal pronoun in the front. We are about to send a messenger. We are sending a messenger. Depends on the context, but give the imminent action a try. Now, the same thing here, anoki omeid. You could have just said amadti or emod. Yeah, right? But instead, you've got a participle, the O and the E, in the predicate position. I am about to stand between Yahweh and between you, and so forth and so on. Here's one where the imminent action probably doesn't work so well. The woman, ko-wraith, there the question here is the acquiescing oliphant, the quiescing aleph. You still have your O vowel and your E vowel, though, so it's not really a big problem. It's a minor variation. Quiescing alephs you should be familiar with by now. Its predicate position doesn't agree in number or determination. I'm sorry, it does agree in number, but it doesn't agree in determination. And it follows the noun. The woman is calling out in a great voice. Probably best to leave it as the present stem, present tense there. The woman is about to call out would be in some sort of strange apocalyptic prophetic proclamation, if anything like that. So you can still try the imminent action, but I don't think that one lends itself to it so easily. But context is your determiner, right? Kol Kare Bamidbar. This one's a fun one. Let's pause for just a second. And you collect yourself while I collect a little bit of caffeine and moisture. Because, that's what makes for a great how-to YouTube video. It's below freezing finally here in the Buffalo, New York area. So a little bit of hot tea feels good. Okay, this one's in the Bible. Kol Kare Bamidbar, a voice calling out in the wilderness. And in John 1, you have kind of the neat decision. I am the voice of one crying out in the wilderness, right? So what does that say? Well, it's ambiguous all over the place. So this is our problem, right? Kol Kare, a voice, is the definition, the meaning of the word kol. Kore is a participle singular masculine. Now, is it attributive? Could be. A voice which is crying in the wilderness, right? Because we would use a relative clause, a voice who is crying, a voice which is crying, a relative pronoun, to help us understanding a voice crying in the wilderness, right? Is it predicate? Could be. A voice is crying out in the wilderness. What about substantive? And that's what the John 1 thing, I think, does, if I'm remembering right. A voice of one crying in the wilderness. What about, wait a second, that's a construct chain. Indeed, if kore is the substantive use of the participle, kol could be seen to be in the construct. You wouldn't know because kol is a single a monosyllabic word with an unchangeably long vowel. So it could be construct chain. A voice of one crying in the wilderness. So you have all sorts of choices there, and then you could do imminent action if you want to do attributive or predicate, I guess. A voice is about to cry out in the wilderness. Oh, well, actually the imminent action thing doesn't really depend on the position. It kind of likes the predicate use for that, but you could still do it. A voice of one who is about to cry out in the wilderness, and have a lot of fun with it. And ambiguity is okay. Don't worry about it. Don't get bent out of shape by ambiguity. Okay, let's see. And I kind of want to move along a little bit here. Let's skip down to tricky ones. I got to put my glasses on so I can see them. So let's just pick up 26 for some random reason. Who ba el amo? Who is he? He? Ba? Now, is that the call perfect? Or is that the call participle of a hollow root? It's, again, ambiguous. Perfect, 3SM, or participle SM. He came to his people. Now, could be, if you translate it like that, you need to make some sort of note about the use of the personal pronoun out front. As for him, he came to his people. Speaking of John 1. I would probably do it as a participle because this is more a participle construction. He is about to come to his people. He is coming to his people, right? That's how I would do it, unless context really demanded. So like 27, you don't have so much freedom. Ba is probably the call perfect 3SM. Why? Because it looks like it. Syntactically, it works really well. The syntax means the order of the words. So you have syntax is the finite verb plus the subject plus whatever comes after all that. Ha-melech is the subject of the verb ba. It could be the participle, probably not. The king is, see, I'm doing it. The king has come to his people. Right? And that's the perfect, which has no tense inherent, but we'll just do past tense just because it makes us feel good. Okay? Let's see. Ani bo, or ani ba el ami. As for me, I am... I am doing that wrong. See, this is what happens when you go too fast. And I made basically a first-year Hebrew student mistake. Ba is the verb. I identify the verb. I parse the verb. That could be either participle or perfect. If it's a perfect, what's in the position? Nothing here, right? There is, he came to his people, but then what do you do with ani? That is the first person common singular personal pronoun. Okay? That basically functions as the subject of the sentence being out front. I am, bo, coming to my people. This is actually going to be the participle masculine singular. And I would say context is probably indicating I am about to come to my people. Doesn't have to be that way, but I would translate it imminent action. However, I am coming to my people is just fine. As long as you know that it's a predicate adjective, predicate participle. So let's do these last couple. Rabim Yoshvei Ha'ir. Ah, yes. Remember how I taught you? Look at, or how the book teaches you. Yoshvei is a noun that comes from a participle. It's the substantive use of the participle, but it's just a noun. There's no magical meaning here. Don't make etymological errors. Just inhabitant. One who dwells. Probably just inhabitant or denizen or something. Right? And it's got the construct, masculine construct, as its ending, its termination, right? So it is in construct with ha'ir. Ha'ir is definite, the city. So the inhabitants of the city, and they're both definite, the inhabitants of the city. Rabim is an adjective standing out front. It's predicate. You don't even have to think about it. Obviously, it doesn't have the definite article, and it wouldn't take the dot anyway. It doesn't matter. It's just going to be great are the denizens of the city. The great are the inhabitants of the city, right? Excuse me. That's the That's the substantive use of the participle. And I don't think you can shoehorn imminent action into the substantive use. But the substantive use also just is, when it comes to participles, it's just a noun. That's it. A noun with a basic definite referent. I can hear one of my teachers suddenly shivering all over and sitting down because somebody said there's a basic definite referent to a particular vocabulary word. You can't say that. Okay, speaking of which, haba, right? Well, what is that? Well, it's a verb, right? There's your ba. That's the call participle, singular masculine, used in the substantive. It's the substantive use. This is a case of a participle being just a participle, being used substantively. It is not a noun. It doesn't make this transformation into a basic nominal word, right? It is something that does have action in it, the one who is coming. And on this case, you could say maybe imminent action, the one who is about to come. But here you have clearly a substantive use of the participle. It's not a noun. It's a substantive use of the participle, right? So you make distinctions. Yashav is going to be, yoshev is going to be substantive, is going to be a noun. Haba is going to be a participle, is going to be substantive use, but not a noun. That's just vocabulary, right? Just vocabulary. Now, you'll have to excuse me. I'm going to turn off my microphone for just a second here. You got to see it, but you didn't get to hear it. Congratulations. When it's below freezing, those things happen. All right, so parsing. Parsing, let's just do the basic one. Yotse, call, participle. I've been parsing before. Masculine, singular. That's how you do it from the root yatsa. Let's go on down here to something like this. This one here. Number 16. Roll it up for you. Ba-ah. I got to put my glasses on. Now you're going to, the trick here is this here a third hay root or is this a hollow root, right? Well, let's take a look at it. Could be a third hay root, bana, call, perfect. It could be third singular masculine from the root ba'a. Remember, the feminine would be ba'atha, feminine singular. Third feminine singular. However, there is no root ba'a, not as far as you know. This is the hollow root participle feminine singular. Call, participle, feminine singular from the hollow root bo. She is rising. Okay. Two forms. You will have ambiguity will become your companion. I doubt you'll ever be friends, but they're not your enemy. Ambiguity is not your enemy. That's the cloak and dagger hay. Left is sin, sam. That could be the call perfect third singular masculine from the root seem, hollow root kam, right? Your paradigm form. Or it could be the call participle singular masculine from the root seem. So it could be he set or he is setting. He is about to set, or the setting one, or a setting one, not the, right? Okay. So here, I think the question is, do you see that this is a call imperfect while consecutive with the dot in there? And it's an apocryphated form of some sort. It lost some bits. Right? Vayasar or Vayesar, and that would be Vayesor, because that is in a closed, unaccented syllable. Even though it's afterwards, it's still closed and unaccented, so it's an O vowel. Vayesor, so you know the hollow root is sur or sor, right? That's the hollow root. I've been saying Yesor because I don't have my glasses on. Vayasor. And do you see the difference between this and this sagalette looking thing? which is the call participle singular feminine from a root yashav, because the yod has the yoshaveth. If it were the root shuv, it would be shava. And that is too messy. Let's try again with the mouse because I'm tired of sitting. Shava, right? And then remembering that if it had this accent, shava would be the call perfect third singular feminine from the root shuv. So yeah, a little subtleties. These are not ambiguous forms. They are subtly different from each other, and so they should be distinguished. That's why I say ambiguity is not your enemy. Subtlety is more of an enemy than ambiguity. Ambiguity is just like, let context do your talking, right? That's your real guide, all right? Let's see. I'm looking to be a little short of time here. I thought I portioned off as much as I needed. Let me go to, let's see, write in Hebrew number 5. Swap over to drawing. The women who are walking, ... The women who are walking is going to be an attributive participle, right? Let's draw it on the board here. The women who are walking. Attributive, because we use a relative pronoun, okay? So we've got the women. Let's see. Women comes from isha, and the plural of isha is nashim. That is a vocabulary word. There is no way to know that unless you've memorized nashim. Are walking. Now see, the verb subject object thing is off the table here because we're talking about adjectives and predicate participles. So they're walking. That's the women, by the way. Ha, nashim, and then we're going to walk, and they are halaching. Okay. So now a lot of stuff's going to change. We are going to add the plural feminine of the participle here. Let's do green. The plural participle is going to be that seglet, and you're going to get an O vowel. There is not going to be a definite article there. Geez. I went to all that trouble to say it's not predicate because we use a relative pronoun. Then I said, well, it's predicate, didn't I? We are going to have a definite article. And ha plus doubling doesn't happen. Resh aleph ayin is compensative lengthening. Hey and chet is virtual doubling, so I can stop right there. Ha holeketh. You have no idea how embarrassing it is to make a mistake and knowing that I don't want to go through the trouble of editing this out. So you've seen it. It happens to your professor of 20 years as well. Pay attention to yourself, Dave. Okay, so have fun with that one. Let's do a little translating. So I'm going to swap back over to the book. But, I did only one because I'm out of time. That one's the tricky one. Go use the principles and use the mistake I made to understand more completely how English does its own attributive and attribution and predication versus how Hebrew does it with the same participle adjective problem, right? So document screen, document screen. So let's pick, let's say number 3. Glasses on to see. The reason I do this I'd say about 75% vanity. I don't like the way these glasses look on me. But the other one is I really have perfectly good vision until it's close, and then everything blurs like immediately. It's like I don't even have like it's not like what do you call that thing? A transition. It's just like it's 20/20 vision. just beyond my computer screen, and I can't see a dang thing on my computer screen. It doesn't matter how big it is, it's just a blur, right? And I'm talking about a matter of 6 inches. Okay, Zeh, Hayom, Asher, Yahweh, Asa. So Zeh is the demonstrative pronoun this, masculine singular. Hayom is a word the day. This is the day. Asher. Now I've been teaching you. Comment, pencil. Yep, good. I've been teaching you about this. Just mark all that off when you have a relative clause because you're relating one side of it to the other. And so you want to get both sides independent of each other and then relate them to each other. Yahweh has made. Well, what has he made? He has made Hayom, the day. That's the relationship here. And the day is the object of Asa. So the relationship is different from the referent, but you distinguish those two things, but you have to distinguish them both in order to have a complete sentence. This is the day which Yahweh has made. Yahweh has made which is actually the sentence, right? And the which is relating you to something else beyond it, relative to it, right? Yahweh has made which. This is the day which Yahweh has made. Right? The problem of chapter 12 is mostly language, not Hebrew grammar, right? Okay, same sort of setup here. We've got a demonstrative pronoun. Now it's plural, masculine. These are the mishpatim. And I translate mishpat as mishpat. I think it's judgments, but judgments is a little different referent from what mishpat refers to, and that a word study will help you there. And then I said, mark it all off. These are the mishpats which Anoki Omer Ba'oznekem. So you have to do that sentence. Anoki is I, the personal pronoun. Omer is the call participle masculine singular. I am saying Ba'oznekem. I'll take some time to do that. There's your pronominal suffix that goes on plural nouns, your. And then you have a pronoun, a preposition, beith, attached to the front end of it. This is the problem with Hebrew. Analysis really does mean analysis here. You've got to take it all apart, quite literally. In your ears. Ozen is ear. Oznim is ears, right? Because you know it's plural because akim is the pronominal suffix that goes on plural nouns. A lot of work to do. I understand there's a lot of calories being burned here, but that's why you took a month off to shore it all up. And now you regret drinking all that eggnog, don't you? I have almost no sympathy for you except for the fact that I was a student and I did the same thing. So it says, so far, Anoki Omer Be'oznekem. I am speaking in your ears. And if this is Deuteronomy chapter 4, it really is preeminent action. Imminent action. I am about to say in your ears. And then follows 29 chapters. I am about to say in your ears. Well, what am I about to say in your ears? The mishpatims. These are the mishpatims which I am about to speak into your ears. Say into your ears. Deber is speak. Right? These are the mishpats I am about to speak in your ears, which I am about to speak in your ears. So that's been easy so far. We have the ashers as the objects of the verbs, but now we're going to have resumptive pronoun. Ba'u achai asher. So just click all that off. That says my brothers came which. Okay. Came my brothers which. Shalach avi otham. All right. Shalach is the verb. Call, perfect, third singular masculine. Avi is the subject of the verb because of the subject position. My father sent them. Is the resumptive pronoun that says this asher. Listen closely. Is the pronoun which says that the asher is the object of the verb shalach. That's a resumptive pronoun. The brothers, my brothers, whom my father sent, came, entered. And you can go back and replay that. But I have to go on forward here if you want to get some more. How many more do we have? Oh, a translation of sentences. I'm not going to get to that. You're on your own for that. Let's do another pronominal, resumptive pronoun, number 7. Okay. Ra'ah ha'ir, great is the city, which, okay. Oyevenu yoshavim ba, our enemies dwelt in it, are dwelling in it. Sorry, that's a participle, right? Our enemies are dwelling in it. So our enemies are dwelling in it. This resumptive pronoun is telling us what the asher is. Yes, I know you're not supposed to interrupt. I have children. The preposition has this. See, this is what happens when you have kids. That resumptive pronoun is telling you what that asher is. It is the object of the preposition beith. All right. So that's the relationship of ha'ir. Evil is the city in which, right, our enemies are dwelling. And that's a case right there of not preeminent, I was stuck in my head as preeminent, imminent action. What you have is evil is the city in which our enemies are dwelling. Okay? And that's all I have time for. As you could hear, there are people urgently waiting for me to drive them places. All the best. It's my pleasure to be guiding you through fundamental biblical Hebrew.